Good morning. Sorry I wasn't here today, but I got selected to be on the textbook committee for our new textbook adoption for next year. But I am going to run through the review that I gave you guys yesterday real fast. And then the worksheet that you guys have today, you need to work on that in class, and it is due tomorrow before we take our quiz. I will also post this video to Edsby, so if you need to go back and look at this video, you can. And I'll post that later today. So first off, on number 1 from the work from yesterday, we had evaluate the expression. So on this one, well, 2 divided by 2 would be the first thing that we can do. So we can do that as just 1, and then 2 minus 1 is 1. On number 2, and parentheses come first. We're following PEMDAS. So parentheses, we're adding all these together. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. So we get 10. And we have times 4 still. So 10 times 4 is 40. So our final answer there is also D. On number 3, we're taking these values that they're giving us, and we have to plug them in first. So first, substitute in the values. So we have 4 minus 1 in the parentheses minus 1. In the parentheses, we got to do that part first. So 1 minus 1 is 0. 4 minus 0 is just 4. So that's A. Number 4, you have H is going to be 4. J is going to be 3. So plugging those two parts in. J is 3 times 4 squared over 6. 4 squared is what we have to do first, because again, exponents come before anything else in this problem. So we have 3 times, well, 4 squared was 16. And then 3 times 16 is going to be 48. And 48 divided by 6 would be 8. So that's D. On the next section, it says solve each equation. So some of these are easier than others. But again, make sure you're doing your order of operations backwards as you bring things over to the other side so that your variable is by itself. This one, you're solving for n. So we have, you could look at this a couple different ways. All right, first off, minus negative is like plus a positive. So really, since we're adding a positive 13, we can just subtract 13 from the opposite side. So if you subtract 13, you'd end up with n equals 10. On number 6, this one, we got to get the 17 over to the other side. So we're going to add 17. So when you add 17 to both sides, well, adding 17 to negative 39 would give you a negative 19. Move this up. On number 7, first I'd get rid of the 6 that's out in front. All right. Again, you could use distribute property and distribute to each of these. That would work as well. But again, since we're solving, we can just go ahead and start getting rid of things from this side. So bring the 6 over by dividing it off. So we'll divide by that negative 6. So that would give us, let's see, 24 equals, and it's a negative 24, 4x plus 8. Subtract off 8. So now we have negative 32. Divide by 4, and x is a negative 8. And that'll be our final answer. On the next one, p's on both sides of the equation. So we have, first, I'd go ahead and distribute this 3. So we now have negative 40 minus 7, p equals 4 minus 3p minus 12. Again, it's negative over here now because you had to distribute that whole thing as a negative value. Go ahead and combine like terms first on this side before we do anything else. So we have positive 4 and negative 12. That'll leave us with -8. We can go ahead and bring the 7p over to this side. At the same time, I'm going to bring the 8 over this way. So add 8 to this side. That gives you a -32. Bring the 7p over to this side by adding 7. So +7 plus -3 would be a +4. Divide by 4 and you get -8. On number 9, well, that was off the chart a little bit. Sorry about that. So, going back through that one real fast because I didn't notice it was off the screen. We had over here, we first distributed the 3, so it went to both of these. Again, it was a -3, so the negative went to both. Then we brought, from that point, these two were like terms. We combined them, got -8. We were able to bring the -8 over to the other side by adding 8, and the -7 over to this side by adding 7, and that gave us -32 equals 4p. Divided by 4, and that gave us the -8. On 9, again, I would distribute both of these. So we have -8 times 7, which would be 54, -56. That times -2 would be a +16n. 4 times n, 4n. 4 times 1, 4. So now, bring the n over to this side by subtracting it, leaves you with 8n. Bring the 56 over to this side by adding it, you'd have a +60. Divide 60 by 8, and you'd end up with 7.5. I think I did something wrong there. Hold on, let's go back through. I distributed, got 56, got +16. This was 4, +4. We brought the 4n over to the side by subtracting it. That should have been 12, not 8. And I think that's where my mistake was. We brought the 56 over this way by adding 56. So we got 60. And then 60 divided by 12 is going to give us 5. And that's the correct answer. So n equals 5. Number 10. Easiest thing to do would be cross multiply. So you can take the 5 times 9 and set it equal to 8 times a. That would be not 6. That would be 45. And then 45 divided by 8. This one does give us a decimal. So 45 divided by 8 is 5.625. And that's it. On inequalities, again, most of these were only 1 or 2 steps, but you had to also graph them. So on the first one, bring 5 across by dividing it, and you'd get 8. So at 8, we're going to have a closed circle and everything shaded greater than 8. On 12, just one step. Bring the 12 over by adding it because it's -12, so you have to add +12. Gives us 0. So 0 is greater than or equal to k. Reverse that so you can graph it properly. So k is less than or equal to 0. So at 0, we have a closed circle. It's everything less than 0. On number 13, on number 13, we have the 19. Bring it over by adding. So you get a +15 is greater than n. Again, to graph it properly, we're going to flip it. So n is less than 15. So at 15, we have an open circle because it's not included this time. We don't have the and equal to underneath. And then it's everything greater. So everything that direction. Oh, sorry. I looked at that one. Everything less than. My bad. Everything less than. That's not there. Everything less than. Yeah, and that's why we have to do it so that n is first, because we have to read it in terms of n. N is less than 15, so everything less than. On 14, We're going to take the 13, multiply it to the other side. 16 times 13 is 208. So x is greater than 208. We're going to put our value here at 208 as an open circle, and everything greater than 208. On this one, bring the 2 over by multiplying first. So 14 is less than x plus 4. Bring the 4 across by subtracting. We'd have 10 is less than x. Again, in order to graph this properly, we need to flip it over. So x is greater than 10. Open circle at 10, and everything greater than 10. On 16, we have 9 can come over by multiplying. So 3 times 9 is 27. We have a plus 9. Bring the 9 over by subtracting. That would give us 18 is less than or equal to a. Again, to read it properly, got to flip that over. A is greater than or equal to 18. So at 18, we have a closed circle because we have the and equal to, and everything greater than it. Finally, the last two, we have the 2 can come over first, so we'll have 5x is greater than 20. Divide by 5, and x is greater than 4. So at 4, open circle, and everything greater. On 18, we're going to distribute the 5 to both of those. So we're going to have negative 25 is less than 5x plus 30. Bring the 30 across. So we're going to subtract it. It's going to give us negative 55. Divide by 5, and we get negative 11. Now, again, flip it over so that we can read it properly. X is greater than negative 11. So at 11, we have an open circle, and it's everything greater than 11. And that's it. So that was your homework from last night. Again, you have a worksheet. It's a little bit longer. Your quiz tomorrow is going to be 8 questions. So it's going to be shorter than this worksheet even. All right. But again, you have lots of practice tonight. Tomorrow, I'll leave a little bit of time at the very beginning so you can ask a couple questions on the worksheet. Make sure you get done because you are going to turn that sheet in tomorrow. I also still need to check off your notes from the last couple days. So tomorrow, there are a lot of things that I need to check off. I'm going to check off your notes from Monday and Tuesday, your assignment from Tuesday, which was this one, your assignment from today. And so you have actually 4 things that I'll check off on your calendars, and I'll collect your calendars tomorrow. All right. Make sure when you're finished, I check your answers, especially on the ones that you're solving in the middle. Plug them back in, see if they work out. And then I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you on Friday. Okay?